All right, welcome back to another episode of Stitch Method. This lesson is going to be about like sounding less clunky and sounding more smooth, which is a question I get from a lot of students in comments. And so I just want to let you know that I'm going to be using an acoustic guitar for this lesson. You can do this on acoustic, you can do this on electric. It's really good for both, but I recommend doing it on acoustic because the strings are harder to push and you can get your exercise in that way. So with that being said, here's my acoustic guitar. Boom. All right, so before I get going, I'll introduce this. This is a brand new guitar I got from an awesome guy and a company owner, Nick Kraster, who owns Kraster Guitars. And this is the Kraster Acoustic. This thing is amazing. So if you do like the sound of this and want to check it out, you can go to krasterguitars.com. It's K-R-A-S-T-E-R, guitars.com, Kraster, right there. Okay, enough of the shameless promo. But this guitar is excellent. We'll talk about it later. Let's talk about how you can get less clunky. One of my students recorded themselves, and they said, you know what, everything's sounding good, but I can hear the clunkiness. And a recording of yourself is a very powerful tool where you can really hear what's going on. I think what happens to a lot of guitar players is we play, and we really don't hear what's happening because we're concentrating so much, and we can hear the notes, but our brain does a good job of smoothing things over, and the reality of recording yourself and listening to see if you're actually executing the ideas is important. And if you sound clunky, what I mean by clunky is if you're playing a solo and you get this like stop, stutter type playing where we don't have a smooth like or smooth playing, we can consider that to be called clunky. So let's just talk about a very quick tip, and you definitely want to practice this to help you get out of that phase of your playing. All right, so the clunkiness pretty much comes from two things. Number one, you're not stretched enough in your hand, and your hand isn't used to stretching enough, and it's releasing strings too early, and the sound deadens. And what I mean by that is if I play the 5th fret of this D string here, and I go to play the 7th fret, what you want to end up doing is keeping your first finger down and stretching up with the ring finger. But if you watch, a lot of people play this, and then they'll go and they'll release the pressure, and the note will die, like that, and then you'll play the 7th fret, so we get the space in between. Okay, like that. I don't know if you heard it, but it was there. All right? And no matter what you do, if you let go of the pressure on any string at any moment, that note dies. So how do we practice this? Well, we can start with a simple form 1 pentatonic, and what we're going to do is realize that there are left side notes and there are right side notes. Now, if you're lefty, it's the same thing. You're going to have right side notes and left side notes. Or we can say we have nut side and bridge side. In any scale you want to practice this on, it is so important that you play the nut side note, and once this thing is down, let's see if we can get closer. Once this thing is down, it cannot move. And when I say cannot move, I don't mean like it can do this and wobble. I mean cannot move, as if it's made from, a million tons of cement, or as if it's a magnet, like a super strong magnet stuck to this thing, and you want to practice stretching this finger up, and you're going to feel it. You'll feel it in your forearm. You'll feel it everywhere. But this is where smoothness comes from, where you're locking this down, and you can get this note, okay? All right, and so you want to do it for the next string, 5, 7, 5, 7, and it's going to hurt, but you want to keep that first finger from picking up. Now, as you get to the thinner strings, it gets easy, but what you're looking for is you're looking to not do this. You hear that dead? As soon as I move, this thing kind of either comes off or kind of pulls off the fret. You want to keep the pressure there and stretch up. And now, let's keep on talking. So the first rule of thumb is, or fingers, is you want to make sure that this note does not get pulled off by any means. And I don't mean just off the fret. I mean any fluctuation in pressure is going to release that string against the fret, and the note's going to drop. So you need to stay there. You might need to change your wrist. Usually having a wrist a little bit more parallel, like this way, helps out. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you are not picking up the pressure. The next thing that makes people sound clunky is that they're putting the pressure on, and their timing between the bridge side note and their pick is off. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you play this note and you go to stretch and the skin of your finger touches this string before it pushes down, it'll kill the note like a damper on a piano. So if you watch, I can instantly kill this note just by touching. I didn't even push down. I just touched this note. Right? I'll do it again. Watch how I can touch. And as soon as my ring finger here touches the string with the peach fuzz of my fingertip, the string dies. So what happens here is if you go to play and you touch the finger to the string before you pluck, you're going to get silence and you end up getting this effect. You hear that dead spot? Dead pluck. Listen for the dead spot. See, there it is. So what happens is you got to learn how to time your bridge side note to come down with force at the exact moment of pluck, of your pluck. And so this is going to help your rhythm too. You really want to pay attention to when the bridge side note and that pick, or your fingers if you're a finger picker, hit the string at the same time. If you touch the string before the pick hits it, the note is dead. So now you want to practice staying still here and not moving, and then when you're ready to hit this note, you push down and you come down the very same time so you don't mute it. Here it is again. If I can do it actually right. There it is. All right, so now mission accomplished. The nut side note stayed down firmly, it rang. As I stretched up, I didn't jeopardize it at all. I really stretched, and that helps you build your strength and your prowess to really play smoothly. As I got ready to hit this note, I timed the hit of my left hand or my fretting hand with my picking hand, and so that we don't get a dead space. All right, we don't want that. And as you practice this, make sure that it sounds smooth. You can do this with any scale. I'll show it to you with a regular like E-shaped or a Form 2 scale or major scale. I'll do it on the 5th fret as well, and I'll show you this. Well, fret-wise, it's going to be 5, 7, 4, 5, 7, 4, 6, 7, 4, 6, 7, 5, 7, 4, 5. It's a scale that goes with your E-shaped chord, and now we're at the basic major scale. And what happens here is now you'll have a note that's on the bridge side followed by a note that's executed towards the, a note that's on the nut side, excuse me, and then the second note of the string is a bridge side note, but then that note becomes another nut side as you complete the third note of a string, and you're probably like, what the heck are you talking about, but I'll show you. So the first two notes, well, we have a nut side and a bridge side, and so I'm squeezing with my middle finger, I'm not letting it move, I'm stretching out my pinky, and I'm plucking that note and fretting at the same time. Now I go to the 4th fret, that's my nut side note. Now, my bridge side note is the 5th fret, so it's not much of a stretch, but timed right, you want to get it timed right. Now, this note here is now the nut side, and now I have to keep that down and stretch up. Okay, so you get, and you have to time that perfectly. Same thing with the next set of strings. 4, that's my nut side. I get to the 6th fret, I'm holding this down, and I got to stretch. Alright, and so what I did is I made sure these fingers are down, they didn't move, and I stretched up, and I timed my bridge side note with my pick. And what you want to hear, you want to hear notes passing off the other note like a baton race, where like there's no dead spot, they pick up where they left off, and this helps with your smoothness. And you can do backwards. Backwards is easier, actually. Oh, really? Every mistake I keep in. And it's not a mistake unless you admit it, which somebody just wrote on my channel, which I thought was funny. All right, so quick tips for sounding a little bit smoother and less clunky. Rule number 1, bridge side note needs to be down firmly, and it cannot move. It cannot move like just like a statue. You can't push it, okay? A heavy statue. And then as you stretch up, you feel that stretch, and you time the bridge side root note with your pick. You don't let the peach fuzz touch the string before you pick, because you can get those dead notes. You don't want to do that stuff, okay? And so practice these things, see if you can do it. You're gonna feel it in your hand, and it's a great exercise to do, kind of like when you're watching TV, and just want to get better technically. And right, so go practice this. If you can do it on an acoustic, I recommend it. You can do an electric if that's all you have. You just gotta pay attention to it. The electrics are easy to do. So if you have a hard time with the acoustic, start on the electric and bring it over to the acoustic. Again, thank you so much for Kraster Guitars for giving me this amazing guitar, and I'll do more videos on it, maybe some acoustic blues and stuff, so you can really hear this thing shine. But go check them out at crasterguitars.com. Really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.